What's up, everybody? Trendenson here with Spread the Positive. Got another STP 1200 Club member in the building. My guy, Jessy Casaus, with Prestige Benefits and Insurance. Doing a little May 2025 spotlight on all the stuff he's got going with Prestige and his life and all of the above. So, without further ado, Jessy, how we doing?
Doing good, man. It's been a minute since we've been in here. Took a little trip to Vegas.
Nice.
So it's nice to be back. Learned a bunch of stuff. I hadn't seen you in about three weeks.
I know, man. It's been a minute. We missed you at BIB, and I've missed BIB, and who knows, man. It's that time of year, man. Everybody's going and coming and going. So how was Vegas, man? What'd you learn?
Vegas was cool. I went down there for a conference. So I had some carriers over there, some folks that are doing some new things. It was very interesting. So, one of the things we talked about is how I like to deal with folks on Medicare who actually have like different chronic illnesses, different things going on. They seem to be the overlooked. And just learned a bunch of stuff about diabetes and the treatments and how to manage that for folks. That was a big plus. So now I got a whole other company that can come under the wings and help advocate all the treatments and diabetic supplies and everything for my clients that have that need. And it's no charge to the clients. They run in and they make sure that things get approved through the insurance, prior authorizations, and even mailed right to their home. So it's a big plus. For folks that definitely service because they are way overlooked and they have a hard time getting stuff.
Yeah, you've always talked. I mean, that's been like the baseline of a lot of our conversations is how much that's kind of like your wheelhouse and what you care about the most. So
it is like, man, I want to do so much more. So I'm working on some group stuff. So obviously I could do it all. I could do groups, I could do the businesses, I could do the workers' comp, I could do anything under the sun, but it's just those folks that are on Medicare, they need so much attention and so much help. But that was some other stuff that we're working on. So Prestige is going to be breaking out into the small business arena.
That's huge.
So we're running across a bunch of folks that run small businesses, 5 to 20 employees. And they don't think they can afford insurance for their employees, but it's really more affordable than people think. And there's a lot of things out there that will offer better retention on their employees as well, because when you got those benefits, you tend to stick around a lot longer.
Yeah, for sure. Man, that's exciting. So how does that work? Like can you give us kind of an example or anything along those lines that kind of, so you said 5 to 20 employees. So it's just like they purchase a group package for however many employees it is, and it goes from there type thing?
Yeah, so the way insurance works, a lot of the private insurance, it gets underwritten.
Right.
So then you got your age, demographics, possibly certain illnesses that you may have. We talked about that before, like pre-existing diseases and stuff within it. When we run this program for a large corporation or even a small corporation, you start to pool stuff.
Right.
So stuff gets thrown in a pool and it's more generalized. Cost share with the employer, certain cost share with the employee. But then now you got a demographics you work off of. So maybe your organization is based in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, at this zip code here. So they already have the census and everything. They know what's going on. They know what goes on in that demographics location wise. Then when we take the age and we just 35 to 60-year-olds work for this company. In this age group and this location tends to be like this, so they just pull it, and that's how you can get better rates and really good deals depending on the demographics of an organization. So that's where it comes in, where you really don't know until you try.
Sure.
Most businesses just think it's so black and white.
Right.
And with a business, there's more customization involved. Like when I sit down with an individual, we pick a plan, and there's, we talk about that customization and things that are specific to certain people, but you just got certain plans to choose from in that area, and that's it. With a business, now you can get into kind of picking and placing and putting these different benefits into the plans. So it's totally customizable, and you could just do something that's totally new to your organization and fit the needs for your employees.
Man.
And get rid of all the bloat that comes along in some of these other plans. And it does cut down that cost a lot. Not to mention other benefits like short-term care, long-term care, things like that to fill the gaps.
Right. So is that kind of a new thing, or is it just
It's new for me.
new for you?
It's
Gotcha.
new for me,
I
but
got
it's
you.
it's definitely that's how they've done it for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
that's the I'm starting to break into it because I experienced it on the other end. So a lot of the individuals that I service, we're looking at those type of plans that either are carved out where they exclude certain services, or they have that pre-existing where
Sure.
you can't use the plans, and that kind of goes with the what we just talked about. So
Right.
that employer might have chose not to include that stuff. So those,
Got you.
you know, so that's why it's good to get these businesses and have somebody really counsel them on what's worth,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
pulling out of the plan and
Mm-hmm.
what's worth keeping in, because you don't want to have a bad plan for your employee and they want services, and then that's the opposite of retention. That means
Right.
I gotta bounce out and find better benefits.
Right.
So it is kind of a double-edged sword being able to work through that customization, but you know, we have that freedom, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of hoops we got to jump through to get things changed.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, like, who would be, or like who, and I would assume, is there like no obligation, free estimates? Like you can reach out and just get a ballpark idea and then
Yep.
see what might make sense.
Yeah, really. Again, going back to a lot of the stuff we've talked about before, I'm more or less just kind of in the education.
Right.
I found in this industry, it's really just about educating people and letting them take the pick. You know,
Right.
Is it worth it for you? Is there a way we can save you some money? Is there any way we can get you better benefits, get better health care coverage? If I can't do it, there's no sense in moving forward. So when it comes to these businesses, it's just take a look. We do a census. We take what you may have already, pull all that information. This is what you got. This is the coverages. This is what's not included. This was included. These are your demographics I told you. Throw it all in there and see if we can find something better. If we don't, then we tell you. You know, I'll
Right.
tell you.
Yeah,
you know,
obviously,
better
yeah.
off staying where you're at.
There you go. Well, that's awesome, man. Exciting times. So new updates on some of the Medicare stuff, getting into the group life or the group world. What else you got going?
Yeah, just it's trying to balance it out with the family stuff. So
Yeah, I
it's
feel
that's been fun. You know, like getting to take that trip to Vegas with the wife was beautiful. We got to
Nice.
stay in the room over there.
There
We
you
didn't
go.
do none of the Vegas-y stuff like gamble or nothing,
Sure.
but it's always neat when you go to these events because you got folks that are in a place where you want to be like 5 years down the road.
Sure.
And they really take you under, and they really if as long as you show that you want to progress, you want to learn, you know. So it was kind of fun to get wined and dined.
Oh, yeah.
and
Heck
you
yeah,
know, put
man.
on a pedestal and say, hey, this guy from Tennessee is the only one over there. He's the only one that came over here.
Yeah.
You know, so take him and show him a good time, so that way he feels, you know, like he's
Man.
doing something. And
Heck yeah.
you know, and it's nice. I know sometimes it's a little corny, but
No, not
they
at
like
all,
to
man.
they like to boost you up so you have that confidence.
Man,
and-
that's everything.
and,
That's good morale for everybody. Good for
Yeah.
them, man. And good for you, man. You deserve it, dude. You've been working your butt off. You have been working hard and
I've been
grinding it out and meeting with any and everybody and just educating folks. So I'm glad you got a little wine and dine, a little pampering, a little boost, man. Good for you. That is that makes me happy, man. And it seems like, man, you're in the company's solid. Like it seems like y'all, like, you really have a good support system. And I know who was it? Is it Bo?
So yeah, Bo out there, he's the guy with
It's like your mentor and
my mentor,
Yeah.
the guy that helped me set this all up here. And you know, for me to be able to kind of come in and take a branding that was already built,
Yeah.
but actually take it and make it mine here in Tennessee,
That's awesome.
is a big deal.
It
You know,
really is.
It's like taking a franchise.
Yeah.
You know, like you go and you buy into McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. You don't have to do all that work of advertising and creating this brand. it exists there
Yeah.
for you, and as long as you run the system that Chick-fil-A has for
Yeah.
you, you're gonna succeed. There's not like nothing you could do to lose unless you just give
You
up.
don't do the work, right?
So it's great that I have that opportunity to run it like that, and I'm looking forward. I mean, again, I know we talked. I got other things that are going on that take up a lot of my time on the healthcare side of
Sure.
things, and that's probably going to go away soon. So I'm setting up a transition where I can have a physical location where I
go,
can
man.
service people with all
Congratulations.
the branding. Working on another license right now as well, so I will be picking up additional lines like PNC. So
Okay.
I'll be kind of like a one-stop shop for insurance. So I
Nice,
can do
man.
the car,
Congratulations.
the renters, the homeowners, the commercial, the life, the health, all that stuff. So
Man, congrats. That's
I-
major, man. That's
yeah,
major moves.
It's a little tough, but I think it's the way to go. I mean, I just want to be able to offer those things for
Yeah.
the people that I'm building relationships to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great being a part of BIB and be able to
Oh,
work
yeah.
with those people. Like Scott. Scott is the guy. He's the PNC guy, and he's going to be my mentor there, and I'm going to be able to build that up and just offer additional lines and be able to band together with a nice other entity that's already already killing it and is ethical
Yep.
and is part of the same community with the same beliefs.
Yeah.
That'll be able to build me up as well. And
Man,
that's
that's
just another
exciting,
thing.
dude. Congratulations, man. I didn't know all that was in the works, man.
Yeah, it's new in the works, but it's going.
Churning and burning. That's what's up, man. So, prestige and or benefits and insurance about to be kind of a one-stop shop for you here.
Yeah.
Man, that's exciting, dude. And we've been, do you see yourself still kind of having that sweet spot or just that soft heart for the health, like just as like what kind of started it all? Or do you see yourself kind
I
of,
have to. My people
Yeah.
are so awesome. Like, I got a call today, from a client, Medicare client, and we just talked for like 30 minutes.
Nice.
Shout out to Candace if she ever watches this. But she calls and just great people, like-minded, the same type of beliefs. And I was able to help her in her situation, but
That's
that
so
was
cool.
like secondary almost. It
Right.
was just almost
just catching up?
the fellowship of like,
Yeah.
and it's great. Like I love my clients; they're awesome, and I just love getting those calls from them. Like, hey, that they trust me that much. They
Yeah.
just got something silly going on,
Sure.
and they just call me and like, hey, what's up? What do you think about this?
Right.
I'm thinking about leaving my primary doctor for something else because I don't like this.
Sure.
And they didn't have to call me. I have nothing to do with that, but they call me and they ask me.
You kind of
that
do.
advice.
I mean,
Yeah,
that speaks volumes to just
it's-
you as a person, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love that. That makes my heart smile. Like you say that you don't have anything to do with that. I mean, I would say you do, right? Like, I mean, they trust you in that situation.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
like that, normally, it's like,
Yes,
you don't
like, I'm
think-
not gonna
like,
change your doctor for you, but
Yeah, I'm not digging this primary care I got. Let me call and see what my agent thinks about it.
right, that is kind of wild.
So it makes me feel good,
Yeah.
because normally it's like, it's probably not something advice. I mean, it might call me and say, hey, I changed my doctor.
Sure, what does this
You
mean?
know.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's awesome, man. And that's cool. I love how you said it was like secondary. It's almost just like catching up with a friend, and then, oh yeah, I got got a pretty serious issue here potentially. What do you think about that too? So
yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, that's more important to me than the business aspect,
Sure.
the money aspect.
Mhm.
I think it works better in the long run.
yeah,
Like on the way over here in the car, I got a call from another guy that I connected with that was having some issues. Plan wasn't working out, wasn't getting things covered like he thought. And I told him, hey, if you do X, Y, Z, this is how it'll work, and you'll actually have better coverage, and you'll save X amount of money. And always ask them, do you work with somebody? You have somebody already that you're with, And he's like, well, I got somebody. I got a gal, and she's the one that did this, and I like her. I was like, well, go tell her this, what I just told you. And he called me today, and he's like, hey, I did everything you said. I just want to tell you thank you.
man. that's what's
She
up.
was able to hook me up, and I maybe I didn't get that person as my client, but I didn't steal
No.
them from somebody, and and I just
Got
hope
good
that
karma.
gets reciprocated, because
Yeah.
it is kind of a ruthless world, especially with the Medicare folks, because they got these enrollment periods, and people just hit them and hit them and hit them. And sometimes they switch things over, and they don't even know they switched it over. Now
Right.
with a different person, and it's like, so
Man.
that's something I really want to dive into more when it comes to like doing more scheduled speaking engagements where I go do lunch and learns with,
Yeah.
whether it be in a home or at some sort of senior center. Because they just don't know, man. They get preyed on a lot. They call me sometimes, and they're like, "Did somebody call me and told me XYZ about my insurance?" And and I'll tell them what number they call, and then I'll Google it right there, and I'll be like, "Look, if you put this number in Google and it comes up, that's a scam." So they just don't know,
Yeah.
and nobody's looking out for them. So I think I'll always will have a heart for just
Yeah.
that Medicare. But there's just so much more out there being untouched. There's just a lot I can do, and I do want to bring that type of care into
Right.
all those aspects.
Yeah, man.
Whether it be with the groups or other individuals under 65,
Sure.
and life insurance and the property and casualty.
Yeah.
I'll definitely
Just
bring
genuinely caring, right? Like that's what I've seen since day one of, I think the first time I saw you present at BIB, like just the genuine care you have for what you do really stood out. I think that was like this is, I mean, obviously you're in it to make money. You're obviously like, we all got to pay our bills and stuff, but like you genuinely care about the people you're serving, and especially that population that's, like you said, that they're preyed upon like crazy, and there's so much fraud, and there's scammers, and there's so much stuff, like just all these subsidies that are popping up. Like you get $6,400 for free if you. It's just like
they call me on that all the time. Somebody told me I get $3,200 on this card. I'm like, well, let's take a look.
Yeah,
and I
right.
always tell them, let's take a look and see. And something changed since the last time we talked. And then I'll show them. It's like, well, you got to live in California, you got to live in New York,
Right.
and it's got to be
That's
this,
all.
and you got to be on Medicaid. So it's fun to educate them like that. And I found really, it comes from Bo, my mentor. He taught me all this stuff, and he blows me away, because when I was there in Vegas, he was just nonstop, and you could just tell the dude just loves what he does.
Yeah.
And being in healthcare and having that service mindset in that industry, it's just carrying on. And you find that if you just do what's right for people, you don't focus on the money, and you just focus on servicing them and doing what's good, you might not gather as much in one, net toss.
Sure.
But you retain everybody.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the retention rate that I have on individuals, and the loyalty and how I can interact with them is so much greater than if I was just being a salesman and
Sure.
trying to collect as many accounts as I could. And I think that's more important to me. I think it's better business. I think it is a money mindset.
Sure.
Because it is an industry where we're in it to make money.
Yeah.
Whether it be the Medicare or
And doing it the right
groups.
way, and providing the right service that keeps them in a better spot, not costing them, or like if you're doing your job right, like you're going to be making their lives easier, and they're going to be like, well, why would I ever go anywhere other than working with Jesse? Like, it's common sense. It's just, it's doing things the right way and taking care of people. Think it's biblical, right?
That's the main thing. It's hard to have that biblical mindset constantly.
Sure.
But it's that's what I pride myself in more. My life has been full of struggle and lack and inadequacy and my the balance of shame from past sins and how it is currently, and to be Christ-like in every aspect of our life is something that even as modern Christians we've set up these little shelves where I'm Christ-like, on a Sunday when I go to church, or maybe at my kitchen table, I'm bold enough to say XYZ to my children. But in the public, I can't. I got to bite my tongue because it's not acceptable. Or especially in a business atmosphere, it is tough. It's like, like my business card. I mean, my tagline is Titus 2:13. Waiting for the blessed, our blessed God and Savior. Jesus Christ. Like it's all about that. Like number one in my life is that, and it's got to be expressed in business. Whether or not it helps or doesn't help, it has to be. I mean, I want to put Christ number one in everything I do, whether I'm waking up, going to sleep, eating, drinking, walking about. Like in Deuteronomy, it says, tell this to your kids when you wake up throughout the day. When you go down, it's like tie them on your hands and not put them on your forehead as frontlets. It's like it's supposed to be everything, and it's hard to translate that into business, but I think it's just that golden rule. Christ sums it up so easily when he talks about the law, where he says, the first and greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. The second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. And he says the whole law and the prophets, everything, it hangs from those two commandments. So it's like, even if you just look at the 10 Commandments, don't have any other gods, and don't take the Lord's name in vain, keep the Sabbath, honor your father. That all just sums up in those two things. And and if you have a heart for people and a heart for God, you'll stumble less. I mean, still stumble, but you'll stumble less, and that's definitely the foundation for business, and it always will be. And I think in the long run, it'll pay off. Like building your house on the rock,
Yeah.
It's just whatever you build on it, it's not gonna fall. Like you could build quickly on the sand, but man, you're gonna have stuff tumbling down constantly. You're gonna be losing stuff. You're gonna be struggling, and I'd rather be slow and steady than quick and have it crumble.
Man, those are some bars, Jesse. Those are some bars, man. That's really good stuff, man. And so true in every aspect of everything. Any updates on the family? How's the fam doing? I know you got new grandbaby.
She's gonna be 1 next month.
What?
So the youngest one will be 1. So Adriana will be 1 years old, and then I got the 3 and 2 and 3 we'll call it. And it's close enough, but. She's a doll. Like, nice, man. I love just.
They're here, right?
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter struggles a little bit, with things because her life is. she get boom, 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 3 kids, and she's there. Wow. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she's just constantly go, 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 go. And those kids they're not just chill.
No, they're not. I don't think any kids chill at 1, 2, and 3. Those are just formative years. Shouts to her though, man. That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, man. I think we've kind of done it for the little update. Another little STP 1200 Club recap, update, spotlight, whatever you want to call it, man. Anything else you want to leave the people with?
No. Just
hit you up.
Hit me up if you want somebody that'll really care. Is not just there to sell your product, and you have any of these aspects. You don't know if your life is covered, your insurance is adequate. Anybody with a small business, or I love theology too. If you just want to talk theology, I can go on and on and on about our Lord and the Scripture and everything and how that should correspond to every aspect of our life. But if you want somebody that does business according to biblical standards, I'm your guy.
Where can they find you?
They could find me if they just Google Jesse at Prestige Benefits and Insurance on Facebook, Instagram. My phone number is 615. I don't even remember what that number is. It's
we'll have it in the notes.
Yeah, we'll have it in the notes. But you can hit me up either way. Socials.
Just look in the description below. We'll have it in there. We got you, man.
Make it easy on me.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your continued support. Super. I always love catching up, man. I love your passion for what you do and how you go about doing it. It's like you said, it's a wild world that you're in, but you really do it the right way for the right reasons. And I say it all the time. That's what this whole thing's about. So appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. All right.
Peace.
Peace.